if collapses could happen in that manner, then the validity of Bitcoin, what it actually does, a lot of merit. And that's why the hash rate that we have been seeing has also been hitting all-time highs. So from a technology standpoint and an adoption standpoint, Bitcoin has been doing very, very well. Hey guys, so by the time we're recording this, we're actually seeing Bitcoin correct after it failed to break out from the 31,000 price range. What's interesting about that is I posted a couple of snippets of the chart also, that one of the interesting price ranges to watch out for and ranges for Bitcoin was the 28,000 support and the 31,000 resistance, which after the breakout of 28,000, that's where it was hovering. And what was interesting about that is if it held its ground above the 28,000 level and failed to break out from the 31, we would have seen it start to consolidate. But by the time I'm recording this, we're actually seeing it below the 28,000 level. So it depends on how the next price movements of Bitcoin would go. But what I want to submit to you is this: if it fails to stay above 28, then there might be downward movements that could possibly happen still, that the selling is not yet over. However, if it dips a bit below 28 but goes back up and starts to somehow build and form a certain, reiterates the support level at 28,000, then we could possibly see it range over the short term with the support of 28,000 with the resistance of 31,000, which just solidifies the movement from the previous months. And we're forming a range in that particular area. However, if 28,000 does not hold, then the downward pressure will be further pronounced. That's what it is from a technical analysis point of view. Please do note also that I mentioned that there was a breakout from 100-day and 200-day moving average. Always remember that larger trends also dictate movements of how the market will go. What triggered the upward movement was basically, number one, if you looked at what happened in the banks, they were closing down. If you looked at what happened to financial institutions that were centralized, that people lost access to their money, it actually somehow increased the use case and utility of Bitcoin. Please do remember this, that what makes Bitcoin very interesting is that it's a decentralized store of value, that it gives people the ability to self-custody whatever assets that they may have. Because of collapses like that, it further increased the perception of people that if collapses could happen in that manner, then the validity of Bitcoin, what it actually does, a lot of merit. And that's why, in spite of a lot of bearish things from a traditional finance point of view, we saw Bitcoin go up from 20,000 at the time of those crashes to as high as 31,000. So the use cases of Bitcoin has never been more alive. The use cases of Bitcoin, what it's disrupting and what it's changing, hasn't changed. The amount of holders, of people who own at least one Bitcoin, has been hitting all-time highs. The hash rate that we have been seeing has also been hitting all-time highs. So from a technology standpoint and an adoption standpoint, Bitcoin has been doing very, very well. You may be asking, why is it down? Why did it correct? First of all, from a technical analysis point of view, there's a resistance. Number two, people need to realize this, that it can't go up forever. Similar to stocks, similar to commodities, similar to the forex market, they all go in cycles. And if you look at the narrative also, FTX crashed November 2022. It's been 6 months since that time. If you try to look at the narrative of 16,000 when it crashed, one of the lowest portions also of how Bitcoin dipped to 31,000, if you look at the narrative there, it already almost doubled in terms of from where it was before to the highest that it hit a few weeks ago. A lot of money, especially institutional money, always remember this, that what allows markets to move is not retailers, it's really institutions. And to institutions that have a large amount of money, doubling it over a 6-month period is already something that's a big deal for them. Of course, if you notice it versus retailers, a lot of retailers like baggers, like the 10x, 100x types of movements of crypto. But for a lot of institutions, particularly the ones that can't get into smaller projects, investing in Bitcoin and almost doubling what they have is something that's already very, very good for them. And if you have a lot of institutions that made decent amount of money and are in it also to trade, a natural response for them is to take profits. At the end of the day, no matter how game-changing the asset will be, there will be people also who will have different motivations on why they want to get into a certain asset class. Maybe they need the money at that particular point in time. Maybe the profit is something already that's good enough for them. Or for some people that bought higher, maybe they already broke even. And because they're already breaking even, they're thinking that maybe I should take it out because they couldn't take the liquidity. Meaning, somewhere at the 31,000, a lot of people realize that the gains are okay for them. Some might be cutting losses and they're okay already with that. Some might be breaking even, but they're getting out of the position. In reality, more sellers just bring the prices down. That's why I've been going back to this point altogether, because in spite of it going down, in spite of the correction, what's happening underneath from a technology, network effect, and adoption standpoint, Bitcoin has never been as good, has never been better. And here's the thing, I want you guys to research this also. Check out the number of hodlers, that there's a larger amount of people also right now who own Bitcoin, that their wallets haven't moved. Hodlers, those that believe in Bitcoin, who are not just in it for the flip, have been holding into it, have been holding in spite of the volatility, in spite of everything that's going on. Now, if you're in this for the long term also, what I'm trying to say is whatever downward moves that you see from a cryptocurrency, at least from a trading or from a price fluctuation standpoint, it maybe doesn't matter as much if you're looking at it from a network effect and an adoption point of view, because the technology is highly sound, the adoption is just getting better, and better regulations from other countries will further bolster it. Now, it's sad that regulations in the States are somehow anti-crypto, but if there's one thing that's so interesting about it is that it's just gonna bring innovation outside the US. And that's what I always say, technology just moves forward. It doesn't move back. It just keeps on pressing and marching and moving forward in spite of the volatility. Always remember this, that halving is less than a year away. If you follow how it was over the past years, the miners, what they will receive gets slashed by half. The scarcity storyline of Bitcoin will just continue to progress. And if history has shown us something, watch how Bitcoin will be a few months after the halving. Watch what will the movement be, given that what miners will get will be lesser. Fail to break out of 31,000, you have a correction. But it doesn't change anything that's available in Bitcoin. And what's interesting is this, if you had the conviction to come in at 16, 17, 18,000 when everyone was scared last year, whatever you're seeing right now, whatever price volatility that's happening right now, when there's no FTX sort of collapse that's going on, but it's purely price fluctuations downward, what's nice about drops like that from last year is it strengthens you, that whatever downward pushes you see right now is not something that will cause you to panic, similar to the first time that you encountered it. And always look at lessons like this as you progress and try to get better in investing. So how long this correction will be? Will it be actually stronger? The answer to that from a charting perspective is watch the 28,000 support, and the resistance perspective, watch the 31,000 resistance. Look at the 100 and 200-day moving average. If we stay above that, bounce above that, well and good. And I'll keep you updated should there be any more movements from a price and a technical analysis point of view. But from a tech perspective, Bitcoin is sound. It's the most secure, decentralized asset class that we've ever seen. That's it for now. Marvin Kermo. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. See you all again soon. God bless you all.